Okay. Thing says yeast has long been known to be a leaven, that is, a substance used in baking to make breads rise. Since biblical evidence ties to the use of leavens to events dating back to 1200 BC, we can infer, which infer means conclude on the LSAT,
Mhm.
that yeast was already known to be leaven at that time. So essentially, Yang gives us some background information here. And then
Mhm.
we have since introduces a premise.
Mhm.
Then Yang's conclusion is that yeast was already known to be a leaven at that time.
Mhm.
And then Campisi responds and says, I find your inference unconvincing. Several leavens other than yeast could have been known in 1200 BC. So Campesini's conclusion is, I find your inference to be unconvincing. And so then our question says, Caponsini counters Yang's argument by. So how would you explain in your own words that Caponsini like responds to Yang? Choices says A said suggesting that an alternative set of evidence better supports Yang's conclusion. Well, we don't say that an alternative set of evidence would be better to support this idea that yeast was already known. So we can cross A off pretty easily.
Mhm.
What about
Be questioning the
yeah?
truth of the presumption. Um, I think maybe.
All right, let's leave B for a second and go on to C.
Okay. Denying the truth of Yang's conclusion without considering. I'm gonna cross out C.
Yeah, we definitely, I like the first part here. It says denying Yang's conclusion, but actually, we don't actually take that back. We don't deny Yang's conclusion. We just say like we're not sure of your conclusion, Yang.
Mhm.
We just poke a hole into it. Are we just like kind of like say, are you sure?
Mhm.
All right, what about D?
Pointing out that the premises of Yang's argument more strongly support a contrary conclusion. That one I'm not sure of.
We say
But I'm
that
thinking
that Yang's do we say that Yang's premises support a contrary conclusion?
no.
No,
Mm.
like the contrary conclusion. I don't even know what the contrary conclusion would be. Like that
Yeah.
they did it. That your evidence actually supports that yeast was not known. Like
Mhm.
no, we don't do that. So we can cross off D for that reason.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what about E?
Calling into question the truth of evidence presenting in Yang's argument. Calling into question the proof of evidence.
So calling into question just means questioning, right?
Yes.
We could
Questioning.
even say question. We can even cross it up all the way up to here. Questioning the evidence presented in Yang's argument. Do we question the evidence?
Like,
I mean, the only evidence they give is that since biblical evidence ties the use of leavens to events, like, do we question that and say, actually, in biblical times, they didn't use leaven?
mm, no, he does.
No, we just don't know if yeast was the one that they were using or not.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely B here because we question the truth of the assumption
Mhm.
underlying Yang's argument, and that's that yeast had to have been the one that was being used. Like, we don't know that it had to have been yeast.
That is true. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's why it's B.